Welcome back, everybody. So the great news about this next day is that it's actually all review. So we won't have any brand new topics today, just some stuff we haven't seen in a while that we want to remind ourselves about as we go through. All of these examples are taken from e-learning day 4, which is worksheet 3 in unit 10. Okay, so if I take a look at example 2, I see a quantity times another quantity. I'm thinking distributive property. So everybody gets multiplied by the 2x. Everybody's going to get multiplied by the -1. You've definitely seen this before in Algebra 1. We haven't done a ton of fancy stuff lately, but it is familiar to you. 2x times x squared gives me 2x cubed. Add my exponents. 2x times 5x plus 10x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. When I take -1 and distribute, it's really going to just change all the signs of these terms. After that, I want to ask myself, are there any terms that I can combine? Most likely the answer is going to be yes. So I'm going to combine like terms. 2x cubed, unfortunately, has no one to play with. 10x squared minus x squared gives me positive 9x squared. Be careful with your arithmetic. 6x minus 5x gives me x, and minus 3, nothing to combine with on the end. Okay, not too bad. For the next one, again, I have a quantity times a quantity. This is double distributive, or I get to use my favorite four-letter F word, FOIL. I also need to remember one of my properties from radicals. Numbers, play with numbers, and radicals play with radicals. So that's going to help me figure out which pieces of the puzzle multiply together. 3 times 8, 24, not a trick question. When I take 3 times -5x, the 3 multiplies with the -5 to give me -15 square root of x. The square root of x just gets pulled along for the ride. In the middle, I have 8 square root of x. Now this last one's a little bit tricky, maybe a little bit new to you. This is invisible 1, so I have -5. A square root of x times a square root of x is actually a square root of x squared. But a square root of x squared, I think we know, becomes regular x. In the middle, I can combine these like terms. -15 of them plus 8 of them gives me -7 square root of x, and my 24 just hangs out in the front. That's the best that I can do to combine this answer. Okay, also in this review packet, you will see some function notation. So function notation, if I'm plugging in a number, I get a number answer. If I'm plugging in a letter, I get a letter answer. I've intentionally chosen 2 of the trickier ones on this packet in hopes to help you remember how function notation works. When you see something inside of another function, this is composition. Multiple sets of parentheses mean we want to start on the inside. So I'm taking my g of x, I'm plugging it into my f of x. Now this one, like I said, is particularly tricky because x is in f 2 times. So I'm taking this entire quantity, safety first, plugging it in here and here. My answer is going to look like a formula, and I've got to use my good old Algebra 1 skills to figure out how to simplify. If I have a quantity squared, I would encourage you to write it twice. The 5 we know we can distribute, and the -3 is kind of just chilling at the end. Again, we get to FOIL. I'm thinking you're pretty good foiling experts at this point. And then last but not least, we have a lot of terms that we can combine. X squared will combine together. -4x, +5x gives me positive x. I have a +4 minus a 10 minus a 3. So let's think about that. 4 minus 10 is -6. minus 3 is negative 9. If I start with an x, I end up with a formula answer, and that is perfectly okay. Okay, last but not least, I've got x again that I'm starting with, same f, same g. All this is telling me is that I want a formula, not necessarily a number answer. Other than that, this one's not too bad. I'm going to take 2 times all of f, safety first, use your parentheses, plus 3 times all of g. So I'm replacing those letters with the formula I was given. I use my good old distributive property, and then I combine like terms. So I have a 2x squared, a 13x, and a minus 12. Okay, we'll be posting the rest of the answers soon. Please let us know if you have any questions.